So, over the years, I have been known as a book content creator to be quite harsh with my reviewings, and it's been that way for a long time. For some reason, I struggle to give books 5 stars because for me, 5 stars means absolute perfection, and that's it. I don't believe in giving things 6 stars and stuff like that because, well, there's a ranking for a reason. 5 is the max, it can't get any better than 5. So maybe if you don't give everything 5, you won't have to go higher. That's just the way my brain works. And I saw recently a few people doing this where they check their ratings against Goodreads and see if they're harsher or less harsher. I forgot the word. It just doesn't seem to be coming to my mind. Then the world, essentially. I've read 68 books this year and I've only rated 4 of them 5 stars. One of them I am thinking about putting down to a 4.5. But for the sake of life, it is still 4 that are 5 stars. So let's go through a few of them and see if like my ratings are higher than Goodreads, and if so, which ones and why I've rated them so highly. So let's have fun with this. The first book on this list is a book talk favourite. Everyone and their mother has read this book. It got so popular it now has a movie, and people love that movie. And this is one of the books that is meant to make you cry. That one is A Man Called Ove. Don't get me wrong, I did not cry, but that's because I don't have emotions, apparently. But I still rated this book 5 stars because I loved every aspect of it. The story was fantastic. The main character, the journey they go on, beautiful. I loved every second of it. Hence the 5 stars. 4.38. And when it has so many people reviewing it, obviously it's not everyone's going to love it. So it's kind of hard to have a high score. But to have a 4.38 with this many reviews is wild. And I can kind of understand why. But yeah, for me, 5 stars. I love it. And I will recommend it to anyone who's trying to look for a book to cry to. Thrillers is one of my favourite genres, quite simply, and I read Caretaker. Caretaker, I thought was really good. It had a unique style of a haunted house. And I know haunted houses are far too overdone recently. The fact that most thriller books are this weird house. And it's like, come on. There's other things to make thrillers about. But for some reason, the way the Caretaker is written, it just made it feel somewhat new. And I kind of really enjoyed that fact, which was represented in my score. I rated it 4 stars, and I really did enjoy it. Goodreads has this as a 3.6. And while, yes, I can probably understand that a lot of people are sick of the whole haunted house aspect, but the new twist that they added onto it kind of helped for me, and I had to rate it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and if you are looking for a new thriller to get into, I personally recommend this. Other people probably won't. Recently, I finished A Short Stay in Hell. I rated this 4.5. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great short read and it had so many powerful messages to get across in such a small amount of pages. It was like 150 at a push. And I also got it for 99p on Kindle, which was absolutely wild. And I kind of need the physical book to add to the collection. And for me, this is great. I absolutely loved every aspect of it. And Goodreads gave it a score of 4.13, which I can get behind. I can get behind a little bit because I understand that some people aren't going to enjoy some of the messages that are in this book. The fact that it's really short means you can't really get that sort of character love you kind of want. But still, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the characters and the whole messages that it tried to get across. I thought hit perfectly. Another thriller that I have read recently is Dark is When the Devil Comes. I got sent this book and everyone's heard about Daisy Pierce and the books that she writes. And I went, you know what, I'll pick it up and I'll give it a read and see what it's all about. And I did thoroughly enjoy this. I did think there was one aspect of this that gave just Cousin It a bit too much and kind of stopped it getting a higher rating. Don't get me wrong, I still rated it 4 stars. I thought the whole kidnapping thriller aspect was great. And I can understand why on Goodreads it's got a score of 3.66. Like, for me, if I didn't enjoy it and it wasn't in the right place at the right time for what something I kind of needed at that time, I don't think I would have rated this a 4. Like, when I think back on it, there's certain aspects that are just like a little bit predictable. Why has it got Cousin in it as a horror character? Blah, blah, blah. But still, at the time, I rated this 4 stars, so it is above the Goodreads score, so I have to include it in this video. Earlier this year, I read The Da Vinci Code, and for me, this is a book I've been somewhat scared to read because of how popular it is, and if I didn't like it, I felt like I was going to be missing something here. And surprisingly, I rated it 4.25. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great, quick read, and the fact that it's crime-based kind of helped as well. What was really surprising is when I checked the Goodreads score, it was below a 4. I was like, damn. I thought people absolutely loved this book. And then I saw how many people have actually reviewed it, and it's over 2 million. And no matter what way you put it, if a few people rate your book 3.5 or below, and after that many reviews as well, it's gonna tank it a little bit. So I was kind of shocked by that, but still, I think if you're looking to get into crime, this is kind of like the best sort of novel to get into it. It's quick, it's fast paced. It is, this one anyway, is over 500 pages, but you don't feel it because the chapters are short, and the way that the whole, like, it's so fast paced that you kind of just flying through the book anyway. It makes this 500-page book feel like 250, which I thought was great. It meant I could read it in 2 days, and it was just such a whirlwind of a ride. These next two books are books that, for me, have came out of nowhere. I didn't hear anything about them. I didn't know where they came from. I just remember going to the shop, buying them because I liked the sound of the blurb, and somehow these two become my two favorite books I've read this year. They don't have 5-star ratings, but somehow they're my two favorites of the year, and there's a reason for that. The first one being Hermit. For me, this is the first book I've read in quite some time where I've read about just a person trying to live their life the way they want to, which is, surprisingly, hermit style. They just want to be in their room, living their life, playing their games, talking to their one friend, and then things start to develop where they kind of have to feel like they have to go somewhere else to be able to have a life. And that's when the dark side of the internet comes into play, and things get a bit wild from there. But from the second you start reading about it, you somehow are rooting for this 19-year-old person who doesn't ever want to leave their house. And it's not something you kind of think you'd want to root for, but it's something that you kind of do. It kind of makes no sense in that sort of aspect. But the way this was written just means it's done so well that the main character is somewhat lovable, even though really they shouldn't be. But yeah, I rate this 4.5. Goodreads has this at a 4.15, which is, fair enough, 50,000 reviews. But yeah, if you want something to where you want to know about just one character and kind of learn about it and that sort of thing, then pick this up. And the other book that is probably my favorite of the year, I don't know what it did, but it just hit something in my brain that made me be obsessed with this book. I kind of want to collect all the editions, even though I don't think there's actually all that many, but I won't because I only have limited space. But Monstrillo, this to me has the perfect amount of weirdness added to the way you have the character development go throughout of it, and it just kind of makes you just wonder what you would do in this sort of situation. A woman loses her child, and she decides to take a bit of his lung and see what happens. And surprisingly, the lung grows, and that's where the story continues. And you wouldn't think you'd feel anything for a growing lung, but you do, and it's kind of wild from start to finish. It has the perfect amount of weirdness added to the character development, to having really good writing to make the whole book that much more enjoyable. So if you're looking for something that might do that, I recommend this very highly. And I think if you have not yet read it or you are thinking about reading it, do yourself a favor and pick this up from your shop, library, Audible, whatever you can get your hands on. Do this. Monstrillo, I rated it 4.5. Goodreads has it as a 4.06, but I'll allow it, I guess. I have always been harsher than Goodreads, and I probably always will be, but obviously there's a few exceptions here and there, and these have just been some of the ones of them. And I can probably do a little bit more if I go back a lot deeper in my files and see what books I've read over the years, and I obviously compare them, which takes a little bit of time, but it is what it is. If you like this video, then please let me know down below and leave a like, comment, whatever, and let me know your books you're rated higher than Goodreads, because I want to check them out and see what I thought. So yeah, anyway.